Now, one of the world's most premier institutions is making the headlines. The Trump administration, believe it or not, has announced the freezing of $2.3 billion in terms of federal funds in grants and contracts to the Harvard University. Now, the Harvard University is the latest to come under the radar after funding was suspended to other top universities, including the likes of Columbia, Princeton and Cornell universities, amongst others. Now, the Ivy League school allegedly refused to bow down to the White House's demands. These included a crackdown on anti-Semitic protests and also civil rights violations, the closure of diversity, equity and inclusion programs, and a ban on face masks, which appears to target the pro-Palestinian protesters and also to cooperate with the federal immigration authorities. Now, the escalating attacks on the Ivy League college, Trump on social media called for the removal of tax-exempt status of Harvard. Now, Donald Trump has further advocated for taxing it as a political entity while accusing it of pandering to a political narrative. Now, Trump's statements have come hours after Barack Obama lauded the university for not ceding to the demands of the White House. However, the university president in a public statement has refused to cave in. The statement reads, and I quote him here, "will not surrender its independence or relinquish its constitutional rights. Neither Harvard nor any other private university can allow itself to be taken over by the federal government." Now, the fight between the Harvard University and Donald Trump is not a new one. Trump has repeatedly targeted the Ivy League colleges for not doing enough to protect Jewish students from the anti-war protests that were witnessed on the college campuses. This Donald Trump has accused Harvard of only catering to the elite class and receiving the largest federal endowments earlier. In the month of March, he had also suspended about $400 million in terms of funding to Columbia University and $210 million in funding to Princeton University, $1 billion and $790 million in funding to Cornell University and Northwestern University. And our correspondent Susan Terani, who's been tracking all these developments very closely for us, has sent us this report from New York. Let's listen in.
Harvard University is facing a significant financial and political crisis after the Trump administration froze over $2.2 billion in grants and $60 million in contracts after Harvard refused to comply with demands to eliminate diversity programs, restrict pro-Palestinian student groups, and cooperate with immigration officials. Now, the president of Harvard has defended its decision and its autonomy in what he described as politically motivated overreach. Now, this move by the Trump administration has sparked protests and backlash, including a lawsuit from the American Association of University Professors. But compounding the issue, Harvard donations have dropped by nearly 15% in fiscal year 2024. Its endowment dropped by over a third from donors who were critical of the way Harvard handled campus anti-Semitism. And so while Harvard is taking a stance, it's unclear how much damage this will cause to the Ivy League university moving forward. Susan Tahwani reporting from New York for WION World is One.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.